Radio Cairo presents House of Mystrey. A program produced and directed by Tariq Sharara. Curiosity allegedly kills cats. Why this fate should befall our feline friends in particular is beyond me. I do know that if a bedroom door is locked, I cannot rest until it is opened.
The house was a sphinx, squatting on the hillside. It had the dark, sullen look of all empty houses, but its size also made it seem tragic. It was 4 stories high, the topmost floor overhanging the entrance and supported on spidery white columns. It was a house built in an era of opulence and then deserted by its owners for smaller, racier houses in more fashionable sections of the countryside. When the headlights of the convertible shone on its front gates and driveway, Bonnie Daniels clapped her hands in excitement and was out of the car even before Davy applied the brake. He laughed and ran after her, leaving the lights on and the motor running, and caught her slim, fragile figure at the door. Spotlighted, they embraced and kissed. Then, as Bunny searched her purse for the key, the boy went back to the car and turned the switches that made it as dark and silent as the house itself. By the time he turned to the front door, Bunny had it open.
Hey, wait for me!
She was hunting light sources and finding them. The front room blazed into view, but the gloom of the old house was only partly dispelled. There were too many bulbs not burning, fixtures stripped of the glare-softening shields, chandeliers dangling uselessly from disconnected wires. Her young, small-boned face lost some of its excited glow as she looked about the interior. At the scurfy wallpaper, the cracked ceilings, the white shrouded furniture. Davy, sensing the injury to her cherished memory, came up behind her and put his hand very gently on her shoulder.
It looks different, huh? How long's it been since you were here?
I guess it's almost 8 years. I was young when my father died. That's when we moved out. We've rented the place every summer. That's why the lights are still on. Davy, maybe we shouldn't have come here. Davy?
Come here. Let me hold you.
Come on, let's have a look around the house.
She took him by the hand, and they went exploring through the old house, from room to room and floor to floor, racing down corridors, giggling at ancestral portraits, playing hide and seek in the labyrinth of upstairs bedrooms. They made the old house shake with their exuberance and ring with their laughter. It was on the 4th and topmost floor that David tried the door that wouldn't yield. Then he called out,
Hey, this is very exciting. All those doors. Hey, Bonnie, this one's stuck.
No, it isn't. It's locked. It's always been locked.
What's behind it?
Well, I don't know. It's been locked ever since I can remember. Daddy once told me never to go near this room, and once I remember my mother talking about it, sort of nervously.
Sounds mysterious. What do you say we break it in?
Oh, Davy, no, we can't do that.
Well, gee, aren't you curious? Maybe it's full of hanging women, like in Bluebeard's castle. Or maybe that's where the family jewels are hidden.
Let's leave it alone, Davy. I was always scared of that door. Davy, don't!
Well, what's it locked for? There must be something pretty valuable in there. Look, for all you know, there might be money in there. I mean, your father left the house to you, didn't he? If there's something valuable inside, it belongs to you.
Davy, you promised not to talk about the money.
I'm not talking about your mother's money.
But the house isn't really mine. Not yet. Not until I'm 21, and that's 4 years from now.
Don't be technical.
Davy!
Okay. If that's the way you feel about it, we've got plenty of time. Come here.
Let's go downstairs. Please, Davy.
They went to the first floor. Davy, with dramatic gestures, whipped off the dusty sheets from the furniture in the front room. Then he went to the basement on some unexplained errand and returned with an armful of kindling. A city boy, he was inexpert at building the fire in the oversized fireplace, but he finally got it going. They pushed a sofa around to face it and curled into each other's arms. With the lights out, they watched the dreamy dance of the flames until Bonnie nodded drowsily against Davy's chest.
Kitten, it's time to go to bed. What the hell? We've got company!
It's Mother!
What?
Mother, please, it's all right.
All right, is it? I suppose you are David Snowdon. I've heard about you, Mr. Snowdon. Thank God I had the sense to think of this place when Buddy didn't show up at home and...
You have it all wrong. Davy, tell her.
Mrs. Daniels, I'm...
Never mind. I understand everything. I was afraid something like this might happen as soon as Bonnie started mentioning you in her letters from school. Get your things, Bonnie. We're going home.
Mrs. Daniels, we're married, Mrs. Daniels.
Married?
It's true. We were married in Acton this afternoon.
That can't be. You are underage.
Not in Acton, Mother. 17 is old enough. Davy and I are married, so you can't treat us like this. Mother, please try and understand.
Oh, I understand. All right. I went through a dozen Davies when I was your age. All the handsome boys who thought I was the catch of the season, even if I had braces on my teeth and a bad complexion. Oh, Bonnie, my poor Bonnie.
It's not like that. I love Bonnie, Mrs. Daniels.
I suppose you have no money.
Mother!
No, my family were immigrants. My father was a freight dispatcher until he died. My mother's alive, but I don't even know where. I don't have any kind of family background, Mrs. Daniels. But I love Bonnie.
Why? You heard me, Mr. Snowdon. Why?
I don't know what you mean. You can't explain something like that.
She's a plain girl. Are you blind? She's plain. Why does a handsome boy like you want to marry a plain girl like my daughter? Do you think I'm stupid?
I love her. That's all there is to it. We're married, and there is nothing you can do about it.
You are handsome, Mr. Snowdon, but not very bright. There is everything in the world I can do about it. I intend to have this marriage annulled immediately.
We won't let you do that, Mrs. Daniels.
There is nothing you can do to stop me, Mr. Snowdon. Not until my daughter reaches her majority. And by that time, well, we'll see what happens by that time. I'm going home now, Bunny, and I want you to come with me.
I won't.
Don't make it any worse than it is now.
I won't. Davy, tell her I can't go.
You see how it is, Mrs. Daniels?
Yes, I see how it is. But you will regret this, Bunny. Mark my words.
Mother, I can't live without Davy. If you make us separate, I'll never forgive you.
You will, Bunny.
I'll kill myself. Do you hear me, Mother? I'll kill myself if you do this.
Don't talk nonsense. A heart doesn't break. It withers. That's what I don't want you to find out.
I mean it. I'll kill myself. I will.
They left the old house at 10 the next morning and drove into the city. Davy was shamefaced when he admitted her into his two-room downtown apartment, aware of the sharp contrast between it and the decayed magnificence of the Daniels house. There was decay in evidence here too, but of a different kind. Bonnie looked about the small, dingy rooms with a bravely indifferent smile, but her gay suggestions about making the apartments more livable sounded unconvincing. It was only at night that they forgot where they were and felt secure and happy again.
Davy, what's going to happen to us? Can she really do what she said?
I don't know. We'll have to talk to a lawyer.
But what if she can? I couldn't stand that, Davy.
Don't worry. You've got one thing going for you, kitten, and that makes all the difference in the world. Your mother loves you. She wouldn't hurt you for anything.
Davy, tell me the truth. Do you think I'm plain?
I think you're beautiful.
The next day, Davy paid a call on the law firm of Hillinger and Dawes, where the father of an old fraternity friend was employed. He was gone all morning, and when he returned, he found Bonnie in an anxious state. His report was glum.
It doesn't look good. The lawyer thinks your mother can run us through a ringer. By the time she's through with us, I'll probably be arrested for kidnapping you over the state lines. It looks pretty hopeless, kitten.
Oh, it can be, Davy. Maybe if you talk to her.
She won't give me the chance. She's made up her mind that all I want is your lousy money.
Well, what if there wasn't any money? What if I signed away all the rights to the money my father left me? That would make her believe us, wouldn't it?
Gee, that's pretty drastic, Bonnie. I mean, that money's yours when you come of age. You're entitled to it.
Oh, I don't care about the money, Davy.
Yeah, sure, but there must be some other way. There has to be.
Davy,
What?
you don't care about the money, do you?
Listen, Bonnie. I've got an idea. It's a crazy idea. And I won't blame you for not going along with it.
What is it?
You remember what you said? What you told that old what you told your mother up at the house? About your killing yourself?
Yes? Well, what are you talking about, Davy?
She didn't believe you, of course. Nobody believes people when they talk wild like that. But if anything would make her realize that you really love me, I mean, that this marriage was really important to you. Look, don't get me wrong, kitten. I'm talking about a plan, a trick. That's all I'm talking about. I mean, what if your mother really thought you were serious about killing yourself? Wouldn't that make her change her mind in a hurry?
Well, I suppose it would. But we couldn't fool her about such a thing, Davy.
If we were smart, we could. Just think a minute, Bonnie. If you really tried to commit suicide, only you didn't try too hard, only enough to make it look good.
But how? How could I do such a thing?
There's a couple of ways. A couple. Gas, for instance. I mean, we could fix up a phony thing by turning on the gas. Kitten, don't look like that. We'll just forget the whole thing.
No, go on, Davy. I'm listening.
Well, maybe the easiest way would be poison, like iodine or something. That might be even more convincing. Because then I'd have a doctor in, see, and he'd have to pump you out and...
Davy, I couldn't do that.
It doesn't have to be poison. It could be something else, like sleeping pills. Hey, I've got some of those, Bonnie. Bonnie, that wouldn't hurt at all. You wouldn't take more than a couple. Nothing that could really hurt you. Come on, Bonnie. You could write your mother a letter, Bonnie. You could tell her what you were planning to do. But that I don't know about it, see? You could say you were going to swallow a bottle of pills. But you actually wouldn't take more than a few. Then, when your mother shows up here...
It scares me, Davy. The whole thing scares me.
I promise you nothing will happen. Except that your mother will know you meant it, Bonnie. About loving me so much. You do love me so much, don't you?
Oh, I do.
Oh, honey.
She sat down that afternoon and composed the letter with Davy's assistance. It was brief, emotional, and final. Instead of the air of accusation which Bonnie produced in the first draft, Davy's editing gave it a tone of melancholy forgiveness. He grinned as he licked the seal of the envelope, and then raced downstairs to the corner mailbox. They waited until the next afternoon before putting the plan into action. At 3 o'clock, the telephone rang shrilly, but Davy stopped the girl's attempts to lift the receiver.
Hey, that may be her. She may have received the letter and now she's calling you. You'd better let it ring. Here, give me the bottle. No, I think you'd better do this yourself. Take out 3. No, you better make it 4.
Davy, are you sure it'll be all right?
Of course it will. It takes a dozen or more to hurt you. Besides, I'll get a doctor over here as soon as possible. You can trust me, kitten.
Oh, I trust you, Davy. I trust you. Davy,
Yes, kitten.
kiss me, Davy.
Oh, honey.
It was almost half an hour before she even felt drowsy. He suggested that she lie down in the bedroom. She agreed, picked up the near-empty bottle, and went inside. She was asleep 10 minutes later. He called her name, but she didn't stir. He put on his top coat and went downstairs. At the corner grocery, he bought cigarettes, milk, and a loaf of bread. Through the grocery window, he watched the front entrance of the brownstone apartment house, hoping that Bonnie's mother would arrive. She didn't. He returned to the flat and called Bonnie's name loudly. She was deep in sleep. He wondered if he should alter the plan, call Mrs. Daniels and express concern, urge her to come over and see for herself what her stubbornness had caused. What if she hadn't received the letter? Or, receiving, not believed it? He was ready to pick up the telephone when he heard the sound of footsteps on the stairs. Then there was a hurried knock on the door.
Where's she? Where's my daughter?
Bonnie? Why, she's lying down. Sleeping, I guess. I just got home a couple of minutes ago. What is this? What's going on? What is it? What is it? She can't be. She can't be dead. A doctor. I'll get a doctor. I need an ambulance. Urgently. 1122 Pepper Drive. Please, it's my wife. She's in bad shape. Please.
You are too late. You are too late.
You drove her to this. You made her do this. If you'd let her alone.
It wasn't me, it was you. She did this thing because of you.
She's not dead, I tell you. Wake up, kitten. Wake up. It's all right. Everything is all right. Wake up, kitten.
Leave her alone.
Wake up now, Bonnie. Wake up! For Pete's sake, it's all over now. You've got to wake up.
Leave her alone.
Bonnie!
Leave her alone, even
Bonnie,
now.
will you please wake up? Please, wake up. She can't be dead. There weren't many pills in the bottle. She couldn't have taken many.
She wouldn't need much. Not with Bonnie's heart. It wouldn't take much.
What are you talking about?
Bonnie had rheumatic fever when she was 14. Her heart's been weak ever since.
No, please, Bonnie, you've got to wake up. Bonnie, please, wake up. Bonnie, please, wake up. A letter? I wonder who's it from. Mrs. Daniels?
Dear Mr. Snowdon, would you kindly attend a meeting in the office of my attorneys, Holman and Wilcox, 70 Wall Street, at 10:30 a.m., April the 3rd.
God, I wonder what they're up to now. What does the old lady want? Bonnie's dead. I wonder, do they think I'm after the estate? I've been assured by Hillinger and Dowes I have no rights to any part of it.
On Wednesday, April the 3rd, he put on his best suit and took a taxi to the attorney's downtown offices. They were large offices as he expected, but modestly furnished. The man who greeted him was named Walter Holman and was bald, paunchy, and painfully courteous.
Right this way, Mr. Snowdon. Mrs. Daniels is in my office waiting for you.
What's this all about? Am I being sued?
Sued? Of course not.
Come in, Mr. Snowdon. This won't take very long. I wonder if you're curious about my daughter's estate. In case you didn't know, her inheritance from my late husband wasn't due until she reached the age of 21. Since her death, it automatically reverts to me. So you see, there is nothing you could possibly expect.
I didn't expect anything.
Very kind of you, I'm sure. However, Mr. Snowdon, the fact that you did marry Bonnie imposes a certain amount of obligation on me. You are my son-in-law, whether I enjoy the fact or not. As it happens, I don't. But as it also happens, I feel that it is necessary to make some kind of settlement in regard to your welfare.
I don't understand.
You needn't worry. I don't intend to reward you for what you did to me and my daughter. I'm merely making one small donation in her memory.
I'm sure Mrs. Daniels is being very generous.
Shut up, Walter. I'll tell him myself. Mr. Snowdon, you seemed fond of that old house of ours. You recall the one I mean?
Of course.
It was once valued at a great deal of money, but I doubt if it's worth more than a few thousand today. But it's yours, Mr. Snowdon.
You mean it? You really want me to have the house?
It would have been Bonnie's in a few more years. I have no further use for it. You may have complete possession of the land, the house, and everything in it.
Everything? You really mean everything?
Of course. Mr. Holman will see to the formalities. I merely wanted to let you know.
Gee, Mrs. Daniels, I don't know what to tell
Don't
you.
thank me, please. I can stand anything from you now except gratitude.
Oh,
And I sincerely hope, Mr. Snowdon, that we never have occasion to meet again.
Now then, let's take care of all the details.
Mr. Holman, could I ask just one question?
Certainly.
when Mrs. Daniels said I could have everything, well, there are certain places in the house, I mean, locked rooms and things like that. Am I entitled to all that?
Oh, you are entitled to every stick in the place, Mr. Snowden. I'll see myself that you get a full set of keys for every lock. Now, shall we get down to business?
The sun was a red ball in the sky on the evening that Davy drove out to survey his new estate, and its reflection was repeated in every window of the old house, like a display of welcome flags. The house was a sphinx, and like a sphinx, it was silent.
Here. Nothing seems to be changed. It looks the same. I remember the room was in the 4th floor. There are the stairs, if I remember right. I got so far. I wonder what I'll find behind that door.
Walter Holman had sat quietly during the visit of the police lieutenant, but once the door had closed behind the official, he stood up and faced his client with folded arms and frowning face.
You lied to him. You knew perfectly well what you were doing when you deeded the house to Snowden.
I knew? Are you going to give me away, Walter?
Of course not. But after all, there's such a thing as, well, morality.
I knew there was no treasure behind that door, Walter. Only the rotten floorboards that made us shut up the room 15 years ago. I used to argue with my husband about it. I used to say, we should have the floor repaired, that someone might fall through that terrible overhang and maybe dash to pieces on the driveway. But he was a strangely miserly man sometimes, so we locked up the room and forgot it. It was an old, gloomy, drafty house, Walter. But you know, sometimes I think it really wasn't so bad.
House of Mystrey brought you Behind the Locked Door. Performed by ميرفت القفاص، إبراهيم الكرداني، نجلاء رزق، محمد بدر، ناريتور أسامة كمال. House of Mystrey produced and directed by طارق شرارة.